What's up, guys? I'm back with another video, and this time it's, in fact, not this time, every time I guess it is about to be on books and stuff. But today's video especially is as requested by a very close friend of mine called Hemanth. He asked me to make a video on how I read these books and what is the thing I do. And I find that there are a lot of people who think book reading means you have to go from the front page, the first page to the last page thoroughly and just digest all the information that is there in the books, and that is kind of not what that's in fact the exact opposite of what I do. So today's video is about to be on me talking about how I read. But before we get into that, I just finished this book, and when I say I just finished it, I finished about 3 days back. It took me around 5.5 hours, 6 hours in, I think, yeah, 5.5 hours to 6 hours. Small Acts of Freedom by Gurmeher Kaur. You should follow her on Instagram. You should read, Google her up, find out about her, and then go ahead, read this book. Beautifully written, and after a long period of time jumping into very subtle non-fiction, it was beautiful. It was an amazing book. I loved it, and you should try it too. And yeah, at present I don't have a book to read, so I have to go to a library tomorrow. And yeah, how do I read? My friend asked me, and basically he has a YouTube channel as well, so you should check that out. I'll put the link to that somewhere underneath this video. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, how do I read? So I find that a lot of people think reading a book means you should read the entire book. So if it's a 400-page book, you have to read all the 400 pages, go through every single word, every single line, every single sentence, and that is not what you actually have to do. So I read a book a week, and when I tell this to some people, they're like, a book a week, how do you do that? I feel that is a bit slow, right? Because but then when it comes to fiction, I can go through 500 pages a day easily. Fiction is like I can skim through fiction very easily, and I'll get the plot at the end of the story. I'm amazing like that with fiction. I'm sorry, I'm not showing off, but I have to, right? I have to tell you guys. But then when it comes to leadership or self-help, it takes me a week, because generally there is a lot more information that has to be processed rather than just a storyline that you have to catch. So when it comes to self-help, I take a week to 10 days, and sometimes it goes more than that because I have exams and all of that stuff. Not that I really care a lot, but then yeah, when other things come up, it just takes me a bit of time to go through books. So I'm going to tell you how I do it basically, and this is an example of a book, a very nice book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. It's recommended by almost all of the world's top businessmen. Doesn't matter what field you are in. You could be a laborer or a wage worker, but this book is like super helpful for anyone, right? And considered one of the most inspiring and impactful books ever written. I mean, that is like wow. Right, so I'm gonna tell you how I do it. Yeah, so without wasting any more time, let's say I open up, every time I get a book, I open up the contents. All right, I have a look at the contents, whatever it is, and come on, yeah, here. All right, so when I get a book, the first thing I do is come to this page and I skim through it. Alright, and I'm going to tell you where I got this idea from. This is not my own idea. This is not something I created or I penned or coined or something, right? So I look at the contents and I say part 1, paradigms and principles, part 2, private victory, being proactive, begin with the end in mind, putting first things first, public victory, renewal, all of that stuff. Alright, so when I get a book, the first thing I do is come to this page, and as soon as I go through the page with my eyes, I find out certain topics that I like. For example, when I go through the thing that catches my eye is put first things first. Alright, that is really like, it feels really good. So that's on page 154. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rush to page 154, and everything that is there from 154 to whenever the next chapter begins regarding putting first thing first, I'm going to consume all of that, right? And then after I'm done, that'll take me about, say, I don't know, 2 days. Then I'm going to come back to the contents page, and then I'm going to see, okay, what else is nice. God, I'm sorry, forgive me, I just keep losing the page because it has a lot of right, okay? And then there's another one. Putting first things first comes in as in habit number 3. Habit number 5 says seek first to understand, then to be understood. That also sounds really nice. So automatically after finishing habit 3, I'm going to jump to habit 5, and then that's on page 247. So I'm going to read everything. Now I know what you're thinking. What if you miss out on some stuff? What if you that you read some stuff that you can't relate to because written in some other previous chapters? I know that does happen a lot of times to me. You just don't process that part. Alright, whatever that is on the book relating to what you want to read, grasp that alone, right? And the place that I got this from is from Tai Lopez. I'm sure you've heard of him. If not, check him out. Tailopez, an entrepreneur himself. He talks about this. He calls it the gold mining strategy. Imagine yourself as a gold miner. You're only looking for those tiny golden nuggets in a book, right? And he says this himself. You're looking only for those tiny golden nuggets in a book. So what you have to do is, when you read a book, just keep looking for those tiny nuggets of information that are useful for you. So that's what I do as well. You don't have to read the entire book. I'm being very honest with you. I haven't finished this book completely from first to start, but I know a lot of stuff that's in this book. A lot of it that is important to me. So you take out the stuff that matters to you, apply it in your life. That's enough. If you get 3 or 4 golden nuggets, that's enough for you. 4 or 3, that's more than enough for you to gather out from book. Once you do that, once you get that important information that you want out of that book, write it on a piece of paper. Take an A4 sheet, write the name of the book, the author, write golden, put it all into columns, and then golden nuggets. Just write down the important stuff. So if I have a chart, which I do, underneath 7 habits of highly effective people, there are going to be some things. What are the things? Putting first things first, seeking first to understand, then to be understood. All of this stuff is going to be under 7 habits of highly effective people. Those principles alone I'll apply in my life, right? So that's all you have to do to read a book. You don't have to go from start to finish, because that is complete, a total waste of time. And later on, if you feel, if you're bored and you have a lot extra time in your hands, you can come back to the book and finish it. That's what I do. So yeah, and you can do this for every single book you read. For example, you can just make it into a character. If you read, say, Elon Musk's biography by Ashley Vance, the one thing I took away from that is you have to work really hard when you're starting a business, and you have to give it everything, right? You have to just give it, as he says, you have to give 100-hour work weeks to when you're starting a business. And say you're reading about Sam Walton, Made in America, amazing book. The thing you learn from that is you have to put human beings first. Invest in the human element of the business, and then automatically you will get sufficient returns in the longer run. And tons of other books. You read about Steve Jobs, what do you understand? Think different. Challenge the status quo and think different. Be different. Explore new, explore boundaries and stuff. So you have to understand, getting one is enough. Just one golden nugget per book, more than enough. Alright, so that is how I read. That is how I get through a book in a week. And I hope you found some part of that useful, and start reading, guys. Just please start reading. Reading is such a beautiful experience. I may go back and start reading this again, I don't know, because I read this a long time back. That's all I have to say, and stay tuned for my next video. I'll see you very soon. Till then, take care, stay strong, and if you like this video, then share and let me know what you thought. Cheers.